Hey everyone! We are working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content and it is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button right now as we proceed. Subscribe to this channel right now because we are starting today's show with something that has nothing directly to do with the Blue Jays and everything to do with why Blue Jays fans should be feeling extremely comfortable about the competition in the American League East heading into this season. Aaron Judge, one of the nicest, most professionally measured, most carefully team-first athletes in all of baseball, stood in front of reporters during a spring training press conference and essentially told the entire baseball world that the New York Yankees front office spent the offseason doing the organizational equivalent of showing up to a championship fight without a game plan. He was asked about the Yankees offseason. He responded by saying, with a directness that had social media doing a collective double-take, that the Yankees are the New York Yankees and should be going out there and getting the right people and the right pieces to finish things off. The exact words were measured. The underlying message was absolutely not. When your franchise cornerstone, your captain, your face, your $160 million man, uses a press conference to publicly question whether the front office has done enough to surround him with championship-caliber talent, something real is being communicated. And for a Blue Jays fanbase that watched this organization grind through an extraordinary offseason of calculated moves and deliberate roster construction, watching Aaron Judge vent about his own front office's passivity is not just entertaining. It is clarifying. The specific detail that sharpened Judge's frustration was the timeline. The Yankees did not complete their significant offseason business until January, a month that, in baseball's calendar, arrives with spring training already visible on the horizon. Paul Goldschmidt, a meaningful veteran addition, did not sign until February 1st. For a player of Judge's stature who has spent his prime years trying to win a championship, operating all winter without knowing who his teammates are going to be is not just inconvenient. It is the kind of organizational ambiguity that erodes confidence and creates exactly the kind of locker room undercurrent that Judge, whether he intended to or not, broadcast publicly from a spring training press conference microphone. He quickly pivoted to the standard supportive language about believing in the group and trusting the process. But the initial comment had already escaped. The shade had already been thrown. And in a division where the Blue Jays, the Orioles, and the Red Sox are all coming for the Yankees with genuine championship aspirations of their own, a franchise captain publicly questioning his front office's off-season urgency is a gift that the rest of the American League East did not ask for but will absolutely accept. Now let us turn to the Blue Jays themselves, because the spring training action continues to produce storylines worth examining carefully, and yesterday's game against the Red Sox gave us a loss-in-the-box score alongside several individual performances that have the fanbase buzzing for entirely justified reasons. The big picture from the loss is not particularly alarming. It is spring training, opponents are trying things, pitchers are developing new pitches under live game conditions, and no one is evaluating results against the threshold of regular season significance. The small pictures within that game, however, are where the genuinely compelling content lives. And the two names that demand the most attention today are Eloy Jimenez and Josh Kasvik, for reasons that are both individually exciting and collectively suggestive of something building quietly within this organization. Let us deal with Yariel Rodriguez quickly and honestly before moving forward, because he had another difficult outing and it deserves acknowledgement without overreaction. He recorded 2 outs while allowing 5 hits and 6 earned runs with a walk against the Red Sox. That is objectively not a good line. It is also, in the context of a pitcher who is actively experimenting with new pitch shapes and trying to build a more complete arsenal for the regular season, entirely consistent with the purpose of spring training. The splitter work he was doing in the previous outing, and likely continued in this one, is the kind of mechanical investment that gets Messier before it gets better. His metrics from last year, including the 95th percentile ranking in breaking run value, confirm that the underlying talent is real and the stuff grades out at a legitimate big league level. The command and the repertoire refinement are the projects that spring training exists to address. The bullpen spot question remains open, but 2 rough spring outings against hitters who were themselves either getting their feet under them or testing their own adjustments is not the definitive verdict on what Yariel Rodriguez is going to be in the regular season. File it, monitor it, and revisit the conversation in 3 weeks when the pattern either clarifies or complicates. Now, Eloy Jimenez. We need to spend meaningful time here, because what he is doing in these early spring training appearances is not just interesting as a surface-level feel-good story. It is interesting as a genuine roster conversation that has implications for how the Blue Jays deploy their bench in meaningful situations throughout a 162-game season. Yesterday, he put a hole in a fence with a line drive in one at-bat and then hit a home run at 97.7 miles per hour exit velocity for 357 feet in another. The home run got out fast, not a towering, hanging launch angle shot that drifts and barely clears the fence, but a ball that was dispatched with the specific authority that only elite raw power generates. You heard it off the bat. You knew immediately. That is the sound that makes scouts put down their phones and look up. The career context for Jimenez demands serious engagement because it reframes what the Blue Jays might actually be working with here. In his 2019 rookie season, he hit 31 home runs with 79 RBIs and received Serious Rookie of the Year consideration. In 2023, the year before the franchise-historic losing season in Chicago, he hit 18 home runs with 64 RBIs and batted .272 on a team that was, in the most charitable possible framing, not designed to help its hitters succeed. The talent has never been the question. The injuries have been the question. The consistency has been the question. The organizational environment and coaching relationships have been the question. And at 29 years old, with a completely transformed body and the motivation of someone who spent an entire year outside of Major League Baseball watching from a distance, he is stepping into a Blue Jays camp that has Dave Hopkins as hitting coach, Devin White as an outfield resource, and Edwin Encarnacion in the building as a veteran mentor whose relationship with elite power hitting is, to put it mildly, well established. If the right voice is the variable that unlocks what Eloy Jimenez has always been capable of producing, this might be the environment where that voice finds him. The dark horse roster case that is beginning to build around him makes intuitive sense when you think about the specific gap he could fill. The Blue Jays need a left-handed bat who can come off the bench against right-handed pitching and hit the ball with the kind of authority that forces opposing managers to rethink their bullpen matchup decisions in the late innings. With Rhys Hoskins gone to Cleveland and other potential acquisitions having not materialized, the internal option sitting in camp mashing baseballs at 104 miles per hour exit velocity deserves genuine consideration as an answer to a question that has been on the organizational agenda all offseason. He is not going to play great outfield defense. That much has been established over the course of his career and nobody is pretending otherwise. But as a designated hitter against right-handed pitching, as a pinch hitter in high-leverage situations, as a presence in the lineup that opposing pitchers have to respect because his best swings produce results that look like what we saw in the last 2 spring training games, Eloy Jimenez is not a depth piece. He is a potential weapon. Josh Kasvik also deserves a proper moment in this conversation because his spring training home run off the Green Monster in the Red Sox minor league camp, 416 feet at 103 miles per hour at a 28-degree launch angle, introduced his name to a Blue Jays fanbase that may not have been paying close enough attention. He is 25 years old, he is ranked among the Blue Jays' top 15 prospects, he has dealt with injuries over the past year that have limited his developmental runway, and he plays center field. A young, powerful, center fielder with legitimate home run authority who is healthy and performing in spring training is exactly the kind of depth piece that looks like a footnote in February and like a crucial mid-season roster contributor in July when injuries inevitably open roster spots that need filling. Keep the name Kasvik in an accessible part of your baseball brain, because the early returns suggest he is someone worth knowing before his call-up moment arrives. The spring training scoreboard, 1 win, 1 loss. A collection of individual performances that range from concerning to encouraging to genuinely exciting, is doing exactly what spring training scoreboards are supposed to do. It is generating information. It is separating players who were interesting on paper from players who are compelling in action. And in the specific cases of Eloy Jimenez's moonshots, Josh Kasvika's bomb over the monster, and Aaron Judge's shade-throwing press conference across town in Yankees camp, it is giving Blue Jays fans more than enough material to feel genuinely good about where this organization is headed compared to the competition. Now drop everything you are thinking in the comments right now. Does the Aaron Judge press conference moment make you feel better about the Blue Jays' position in the AL East? Are you officially on the Eloy Jimenez train after these spring performances? And what do you think Yariel Rodriguez needs to do differently to lock down a meaningful bullpen role? Get into the comments, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel if you have not already, and share this video with every Blue Jays fan in your circle because spring training season means we are doing this every single day. Let us go Blue Jays!